April 12, 1943. Beneath a steel-gray Atlantic sky, 200 feet below the frigid, restless waves, the submarine USS Tang slips silently under the cold sea. The air is thick, stale, already saturated with the heat of the diesel engines long silenced now that the sub has submerged. You can almost feel the oppressive weight pressing against the hull, the claustrophobic tightness of the narrow corridors, the soft creak of metal contracting under deep-sea pressure. Around you, sailors move with deliberate care, faces set, eyes wary, each man locked in his duty. Outside, the ocean is a black void. Inside, a world alive with the hum of machines and the steady pulse of tension. The day begins not with sunshine or fresh air, but in the suffocating heat that radiates from the engine room, where temperatures soar above 100 degrees. The air inside this steel coffin is heavy, mingled with the metallic tongue of saltwater and the sweat of 80 men working and breathing in close quarters. With little ventilation, the atmosphere quickly turns foul, forcing many to work in near darkness as they endure the stifling heat. The routine is relentless. Machinery needs constant care. Torpedoes must be checked and reloaded, systems maintained down to the minutest detail. Every task is a thread holding the fragile fabric of survival together. Despite the grueling conditions, the crew wears the weight of duty like armor. Around the clock, the watch shifts every 4 hours, a practiced dance of rest and vigilance. The submarine stays submerged through the day, compelled by the tactical need to avoid enemy detection. After a long run of diesel engines on the surface at night, the boat plunges beneath the waves, hiding in darkness. The crew flips their schedules, going into reversa. As they call it, performing their daily routines in the eerie quiet of night so they can rest during daylight hours when surfacing is impossible. The quarters are cramped beyond imagination. Hammocks hang where there's space, sometimes over torpedoes, sometimes in narrow passageways. Privacy is a myth. The hum of constant machinery and the shuffle of dozens of feet are ever present. The only man with a private cabin the captain holds a tiny space no larger than a closet, his bed and table squeezed into suffocating proximity. Showers, fresh clothes, a moment's peace, all are luxuries denied for weeks, sometimes months on end. Hygiene becomes a constant battle with saltwater residue and the ever-present dampness that clings to skin and clothes. And yet, amid these hardships, the crew remains focused. They know the dangers outside enemy ships, depth charges, the merciless ocean. Inside, every sound is amplified. A creak, a distant clatter, the beep of sonar. Subtle signs can mean life or death. As the hum of propellers fades into silence, a sudden blip on the radar sends ripples of tension through the hull. What lurks in the darkness beyond this fleeting calm? The day drags on in a merciless cycle, but beneath this ocean prison, every minute counts. April 12, 1943. The USS Tang is far from home, riding silently beneath the cold Atlantic waves, on a mission that could turn deadly at any moment. You feel the submarine shudder lightly, the heartbeat of its diesel engines long silent now, except during rare surface runs, replaced by the hum of electric motors as the boat creeps through enemy-infested waters. Officers scan sonar and periscope screens, ears straining for any hint of enemy ships. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Inside the cramped control room, Lieutenant Commander Richard H. O'Kane's voice pierces the silence with sharp commands. Every man aboard knows the stakes. One mistake could mean death. Throughout the day, the crew rotates through grueling shifts watching, repairing, cleaning, preparing torpedoes for the next strike. Mechanic's hands are smeared with oil, his face streaked with sweat, illuminated only by dim red lights to preserve night vision. The smell of damp metal and unwashed bodies hangs in the air, a constant reminder of their entrapment. Food is a brief, cold reprieve. Canned rations passed hand to hand in the narrow mess. Fresh water rationing forces each man to drink sparingly, a luxury in this underwater world where every drop is precious. Yet even in these dire moments, the men exchange grim jokes, stories from home, and whispered prayers. The human spirit clings to normalcy, even here, beneath the crushing sea. But the submarine is not just a vessel. It is a weapon that day, a hunter stalking Japanese convoys across the Pacific. Tang's first war patrol, months later, would see her sink 6 enemy ships in a deadly ballet of steel and torpedoes, her crew becoming legends of the deep. But this day, their nerves sharpen like knives when a sonar ping echoes through the hull, the unmistakable signature of an approaching enemy. The captain's voice cuts through the tension. Prepare to attack. The vessel creaks under the stress as it maneuvers stealthily into position. Each breath held, each heartbeat pounding like a drum, then the launch. Torpedoes roar in silence beneath the waves, deadly shadows racing toward their target. Explosions ripple through the water, shaking the submarine as the enemy vessel sinks. Success is celebrated with a muted cheer, but the danger is far from over. Suddenly, a violent series of depth charges rock the hull, rattle the nerves, and threaten to tear the submarine apart. Darkness, shaking, the terrifying shriek of metal. Under pressure, the crew braces for what seems like the end. Yet the Tang survives, slipping away beneath the turbulent waves to fight another day. But even in victory, the price is clear. This underwater world is anything but safe. As the echoes of depth charges fade into the groaning hull, the USS Tang ghosts deeper into the Pacific shadows, her crew shaken but unbroken. April 12th stretches into an endless vigil, the submarine's electric motors whispering through the water like a predator's breath. You sense the raw edge of exhaustion in every man's posturized bloodshot from dim red lighting, bodies slick with sweat that never dries. Lieutenant Commander Richard O'Kane paces the control room, his gaze fixed on the periscope, calculating the next move in this deadly game. The daily grind asserts itself with iron discipline. 4-hour watches cycle endlessly. Sonar operators strain against the ping of distant threats. Torpedo men reload tubes with sweating precision in the forward room, where air grows thickest and hottest. Engineers battle leaks and jury-rig pumps in the engine room, temperatures climbing to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, shirts discarded, skin blistered from hot pipes. Meals are wolfed down in shift-scan spam, hardtack, powdered coffee rationed to sips eaten standing amid the clutter of charts and gauges. Fresh water, a dream. Saltwater showers leave skin raw, clothes perpetually damp. Hot racking defines sleep. No bunk is yours alone. Hammocks swing double-stacked over torpedo racks. Or men curl on deck plates between shifts, 4 hours on, 4 off, the boat's constant shudder their lullaby. Privacy vanishes. Coughs, snores, nightmares echo in the steel tomb. Yet morale flickers in stolen moments poker games, with cigarette rations as stakes, tall tailies of shore leave, a harmonica's faint tune cutting the diesel fumes. These men, from farm boys to city toughs, forge brotherhood in the crucible of confinement. Hygiene wars rage quietly. Saltwater soap stings eyes, beards grow wild, lice patrols become ritual. Medical calls spike boils from sweat, trench foot from damp socks, submarine bends from rapid dives. The pharmacist's mate dispenses sulfa powder and morale boosts in equal measure. Drills punctuate the routine. Abandon ship, fire, flooding, each a grim rehearsal for catastrophe. O'Kane drills them mercilessly. Tang's crew, honed to a razor's edge, no survival hinges on flawless execution. But routine fractures when sonar chirps, a convoy screwbeats, faint but closing. Orders snap, battle stations. The boat angles into attack position, hearts hammering. Will this be another kill? Or the depth charges that finally crack the hull? Battle stations electrify the USS Tang, transforming routine into raw peril. The convoy screws thrum louder now, a mechanical heartbeat drawing closer through the inky Pacific depths. April 12, 1943, though. Tang's shakedown cruises precede her first-blooded patrol. This imagined gauntlet mirrors the lethal precision O'Kane would hone. You feel the boat tilt sharply as Chief Quartermaster William Leibold spins the wheel, positioning for the kill shot. In the forward torpedo room, Seaman First Class Floyd Caverly sweats over the Mk-18 electric fish, arms Smith into sweat-slicked tubes. O'Kane's voice, calm steel, cuts the chaos. Fire one. Fire two. Torpedoes whisper out, propellers churning silently underwater, racing at 30 knots toward the fat freighter leading the pack. The control room freezes eyes on the scope, breaths held. Seconds stretch to eternity. Then, a muffled thunderclap shakes the sea. The first fish slams home, boilers erupting in a geyser of flame and steam. The target lists, her deck buckling as 8,000 tons of steel scream toward the bottom. Cheers ripple, fists pump silently, another blow to the Empire's lifeline. But victory is venomous. Escorts peel off, sonar blooms with pings like death knells. Depth charges away. The ocean erupts in fury, explosions hammer the hull, rivets groaning, lights flickering red. Water sprays from seams. Gauges spike past 300 feet. Test depth breached. In the engine room, motor machinists mate First Class Clayton C. grabs a wrench, battling a flooding valve as the boat shudders violently. Men brace against bulkheads, faces ashen, the acrid stench of fear mingling with diesel haze. One blast so close it buckles a plate. O'Kane maneuvers like a ghost, silent running, blowing ballast in feints to confuse the hunters. Depth charges walk past, closer, and fade. The Tang levels out, battered but breathing. Crew exhales, slapping backs, but eyes dart wary. Leaks patched, torpedoes counted 5 left. Night falls topside. Soon, a surface dash for air. Batteries recharged under stars that feel a world away. Yet sonar whispers again. Another shadow on the plot. Friend? Foe? The hunt never sleeps. The USS Tang's war patrols read like a litany of relentless courage and deadly precision. Commissioned in late 1943 under Lieutenant Commander Richard H. O'Kane, Tang quickly became one of the most lethal submarines of the Pacific theater. From January 1944, she prowled the waters near the Caroline and Mariana Islands, stalking enemy convoys with lethal intent, sinking 6 enemy ships in a single patrol, dispatching 18,000 tons of Japanese shipping with torpedoes that struck true in 16 of 24 attempts. The crew as skill and nerve under pressure, but the ocean's cold embrace held no mercy. On her second patrol, while Tang's teeth found no prey, her mission pivoted to lifeguard duty near the fortified Truk Lagoon. Here, beneath the gaze of hostile shores, the sub pulled 22 downed American aviators from the jaws of the sea, a brief shining of humanity amid warfare as darkness. The patience and silent vigilance demanded during these rescues were a stark contrast to the sudden fury of battle, underscoring the tightrope each sailed up the deadly scale, with Tang stalking convoys in the East China Sea and beyond. Surface attacks carried immense risk, but yielded critical victories. Merchant ships, tankers. Transports each sunk, crippled the enemy's war machine. The crew's unyielding focus and cohesion under Lieutenant Commander O'Kane's command turned Tang into a phantom menace, haunting the vast Pacific expanse. Yet the cost was ever present. Every torpedo fired brought a shadow closer. Counterattack, depth charges, and the ever-present threat of death. In a cruel twist of fate, Tang's lethal efficiency led to her own destruction. On her final patrol in October 1944, a torpedo malfunction caused a circular run that struck the submarine itself, sending her to the depths off the coast of China. Of the 87 crew, 78 men were lost, while 9 miraculous survivors escaped using the Momsen lung breathing apparatus. harrowing and rare submarine escape that added a desperate chapter to Tang's story. Their ordeal became a testament to the bravery, resilience, and sacrifice shared by submarine crews who faced the ocean life aboard a World War II submarine like the USS Tang was a blend of unyielding routine, sudden bursts of explosive combat, and brotherhood forged in steel. It was a place where time folded in on itself, where moments of danger coexisted with fragile camaraderie, and where every breath might be your last. As you imagine the creak of the hull under pressure, the whirl of torpedoes slicing through water, and the sweat-slick faces of young sailors, the true story of life underwater during World War II emerges not just as history, but as an unending human struggle against nature, war, and fate.